Welcome to this explainer. If you're diving into the real estate market, you already know the stakes are sky high. Buying a home is probably the biggest financial move you'll ever make, right? And the whole foundation of that deal rests on one single thing, the appraisal. But think about it. What if the appraiser gets it wrong? Or even worse, what if they aren't even properly credentialed? You're looking right at the dreaded appraisal gap, where the appraised value comes in lower than your agreed price. Suddenly, your lender backs out, and boom, the whole deal falls apart.
But here is the good news. Unlocking the secrets of finding the right home appraiser in Tennessee could save you time, money, and stress. Here's everything you need to know in one streamlined process. Seriously, think of this explainer as your ultimate playbook. We're going to empower you, giving you the exact same tools the pros use to vet the folks valuing your property.
Here's our quick roadmap for today. We're covering an intro to Tennessee appraisals, the state's licensing process, a step-by-step license lookup, how to actually interpret that data, spotting red flags, and finally, some actionable insights you can use right away.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, Intro to TN Appraisals.
So, let's start by getting a handle on what an appraisal actually is. At its core, it's an independent, totally objective valuation of a property. Lenders absolutely require this because, well, they need a credible, unbiased number to make sure the home is worth enough to act as collateral for the mortgage. And Tennessee has a really smart jurisdictional divide to guarantee that independence. The Tennessee Real Estate Commission, or TRAC, handles the sales agents and brokers, the people helping you buy or sell. But the Tennessee Real Estate Appraiser Commission, TRAC, regulates the appraisers. They are kept completely separate to prevent any conflict of interest whatsoever. Basically, an agent can never appraise the property they're selling.
But here's the kicker. Both of these separate commissions actually report to the same boss, the Tennessee Department of Commerce and Insurance, also known as the TDCI. Now, this is super important for us because the TDCI is the official governing body that runs the primary license verification databases we'll be tapping into a bit later.
Moving right along to Section 2, the TN licensing process.
Now, to really appreciate how an active license acts as a massive benchmark of quality, just look at this number. 83. It takes 83 hours of initial qualifying education. We're talking appraisal principles, procedures, fair housing, and the uniform standards of professional appraisal practice. That is 83 hours just to get your foot in the door as a registered trainee in Tennessee. And honestly, that's literally just step one.
Because after those first 83 hours, the journey gets way more intense. To become a fully state-licensed appraiser, they've got to hit 158 hours of total education. But the real heavy lifting, that's the experience requirement. They have to log a whopping 1,000 hours of actual hands-on appraisal work directly under a certified appraiser. To put that into perspective, depending on if they're full or part-time, getting 1,000 hours can take anywhere from 6 months to 2 full years. Then they've got to pass a brutal national uniform licensing exam and clear a deep background and fingerprint check. So when you see an active license, you are looking at someone who has absolutely put in the sweat equity.
Okay, let's get into the practical stuff. Section 3, Step-by-Step License Lookup.
Now that we know what it takes to get licensed, let's verify that the person you're hiring actually completed the gauntlet. What's really interesting here is how these three distinct databases serve totally different purposes. First, you've got the TDCI Cloud Search. That's your go-to for real-time, active state licenses. Then, there's verify.tn.gov, which lets you dig a bit deeper into someone's licensing history. And finally, the AASC National Registry at asc.gov. That one is the federal lookup tool specifically for federally related mortgage transactions.
And navigating these portals is incredibly straightforward. Step 1, just pick the right portal for your needs. Usually, kicking things off with the TDCI Cloud Search is your best bet. Step 2, simply type in your appraiser's name or their credential number if you happen to have it handy. And Step 3, review the results. What you're looking for is an active status and a completely clean disciplinary record. That's it. 1, 2, 3. Super easy.
Next up, Section 4, Interpreting Appraiser Data.
So occasionally, you might run a search and get a little confused by the results. Pay super close attention to this next part because it's a massive plot twist from our source material. We call it the trainee search blind spot. See, because registered trainees are still chipping away at those 1,000 hours, they actually aren't allowed to independently sign federally related appraisals, which means their names are never transmitted to the federal ASC registry. So, if your appraiser happens to be a trainee working under a supervisor and you only check the federal site, they won't be there. You might completely panic and assume they're operating unlicensed. Trust me, if you're working with a trainee, you absolutely must check the state TDCI cloud portal to see their real credentials.
All right, Section 5, Red Flags and Discipline.
Okay, so beyond just making sure a license is turned on, we need to know how to spot past violations. What you're seeing here is a real example of the TDCI Disciplinary Action Report, and they publish this every single month. It's a public document that lists out all the fines, suspensions, and license downgrades for state-regulated professions. When appraisers step out of line, this is exactly where they end up. And as you can see, the fines are no joke. They can range from a slap on the wrist, $250, all the way up to thousands of dollars depending on how badly they messed up.
So when you're checking out an appraiser's profile, here are the glaring red flags you've got to watch out for. First off, an inactive status. That means they legally cannot practice right now. Keep an eye out for past suspensions or outright revocations too. Oh, and look for a phrase like voluntary surrender in lieu of discipline. That usually translates to, I gave up my license so I wouldn't get officially penalized. And of course, check for any of those disciplinary fines we just talked about. Those are massive warning signs that they violated state law or the core standards of the profession. Also, keep in mind, a clean license is just the bare minimum. You still want to look for local market experience, specializations that fit your specific property, and really solid client reviews.
Let's bring it all home. Section 6. Final Actionable Insights.
Let's wrap up this hero's journey. How do you take all this and actually use it today? The single biggest takeaway here is this. Always, always independently verify credentials. Don't just blindly trust the paperwork somebody hands you. Seriously, take 5 minutes, jump onto the TDCI or ASC portals, and look the appraiser up yourself. Verifying that license means you're working with a highly trained pro, and that protects your mortgage, guarantees a fair valuation of your home, and saves you from literal nightmares down the road.
Now, before we officially sign off, I do need to share this mandatory disclaimer. This explainer provides general guidance based on Tennessee state regulations. Always consult with a qualified real estate professional, legal counsel, or the appropriate state agencies for advice that is specific to your personal situation and your real estate transaction. And with that, I want to leave you with one final question to think about. Will you check the TDCI database or the ASC National Registry before your next real estate transaction? You've got the tools and the know-how now, so take full control of your real estate journey. Keep learning, stay curious, and protect those investments. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.